Alright, this one's going to be on cfdisk. It is a terminal application to create partitions, either for your USB or your hard drive. Think of it kind of like gparted, but for your terminal. Not fully, they don't have all the features of it, but let's say half of it. Okay. So the first thing you got to do is figure out your device location or letter. So to do that, we can do sudo fdisk-l. And this one, you got to figure out, for my example here, this is my USB. I know it's about 4 gigs. So I know this one is 4 gigs here, as opposed to some of the other ones I have in here, which is like 500 gigs here, right? Or 60 GBs. So make sure you have the right one. Otherwise, you delete the wrong one, you lose your files. So this is the important part. So you know that this one is 4 gigs, and this is the location that you need to know. So dev, it was a SDE here, right? And that's all you're gonna know. So you do sudo, and when you use the program called cfdisk. Now if you just type in sudo cfdisk, by default it's gonna use A, not E here, right? This one is SDE. By default, if you just do this, it'll just use A only, right? So SDA, and that's not what you want. So let's quit out of this here. So you want to do sudo cfdisk dev SDE or whatever your device is, okay? And there you go. This is ours here. Now in here they have 2 partitions. Let's say you want to delete it, So we're gonna go into use your arrow keys. So just go, left and right, and that's how you'll navigate between these. So you just go to that and hit delete, and then go down because now you have this other partition, and we want to delete that too. So we do arrow keys here and hit delete, and now you have just free space here. So what we're gonna do with this, let's say we create the same thing that we did before, a fat partition, for like Windows and stuff, and a Linux file system. So we'll go to new here because they have different options here, right? So you go to new, hit enter, and we want this as primary. Yes, we will do primary. And in this one, it tells you how many megabytes that you want into here. So just type in the number. Let's say we want half of this, so I'll just say 2000 for this USB stick here, and we want it at the beginning, and that is pretty much it. By default they give you a Linux file system type here, right? Now that's for one partition. Now down here we still have free space, so we'll create a fat file system on here. So we'll click on new here again, hit enter, we'll do primary again, and this one is the rest of the free space. So let's just say we want the rest of it, so just hit enter, and that's pretty much it. Okay, so right now we have a Linux file system type as our default, but if you want to change that, you go into what was that, types here, right? You go to types and you hit enter, and here they give you a list of stuff. Now this is the first screen. You push enter and or any key, and it'll go on to the next or the continuation of the list, right? But here, let's say we want to pick out what is this here, Windows 95 FAT32. I'm not sure if you want to do that. I think most people, they use this one, but let's say we use this one here. Alright, so this one is 0 and C, and so let's say press any key to continue. Let's push enter, and then we'll use 0 and C, and then you push enter. That's pretty much it. Now this one is now Windows 95 FAT32, right? And this one by default is Linux, so you can use like exe2, 3, and 4. But if you want to do it manually too, I don't think you have to change it if you already want to use Linux, but let's say you do that here. You go to types here again, and for Linux they have like 2 things here. So 82 is for Linux swap, and 83 is for Linux, right? And Linux is just for, exe2, 3, and 4, whatever you want to use. So let's hit enter here. And that one was 83, so we do 83 and you push enter. And you know, it's still Linux here, so you didn't really have to do anything for that. And if you want to make it bootable, let's say we want the first one to be bootable. So I gotta go to there and hit enter on bootable. And you see the flags is now set to bootable here, right? So that's all you gotta do. And after you're satisfied with everything, you just go to right here, right, and push enter. And here you type in yes if you want to continue, and that's it. That's all you gotta do is done. And now you just go to quit. So quit here, and that's it. You're done with that. I recommend just pulling out your USB stick and then putting it back in for the next part here. So let me pull it out and put it back in here. Alright, so plug that sucker back in. So let's check that again here. Sudo fdisk-l. Right, so these are the two partitions that we created. Now we have to format it. So like I said, this cfdisk, it only creates partition. It doesn't actually format to the file system that you want. So the first one that we want to format here, this one is SDE, right? And we're going to use the mkfs that we learned last time from last video. If you guys missed that, I'll post it in the description, but basically that's all you got to do for this part here. It's just using mkfs that we learned last time. So we do sudo mkfs, and this one is using Linux. So which one do you want? ext, let's say 2, right? And we want to give it a label, so capital L. And this one we'll call it heoyea. And we want dev SDE. Now last time we did the full device here, but this one we only want the partition. So that's why you see there's a number next to it. So this one is the partition. So we type in 1 because we only want this one to be Linux, okay, or ext2 I mean. And that's pretty much it. You hit enter now and wait till he do his thing. So is that done? There you go. Hit enter. Might have to wait a little bit longer. What the hell? Hurry up, man. There we go. Alright, so let's do that again here. Sudo fdisk-l. So the first one we did was SDE1, and that one was ext2. And the next one we'll do sudo mkfs, and we'll do fat, right? And we'll give it a label also, or a name here, and we'll call this gotbletu. There we go. And we'll do an override, and we'll do dev SDE2, right? So we want this one as a fat file system. And that's pretty much it. You hit enter, and it's done. Okay. And let's open our file system here. And you see these are the two ones that we created. This one is the fat file system, and you can create files in here, not an issue. This one again, we have to set the permissions here. Maybe I'll show you how to do that in the command line later on, but all you gotta do is type in sudo and then your file manager name. So whatever file manager you're using, just type in that name. But right now, like I said, I'm using thunar, and this is the same thing we did last time. So sudo thunar here. And let's run this down quickly again. So the location of this up top here. So this one's up top is the normal user. This is your root account. And we're going to use the root account because we have permissions to, change the permissions in here and change owners in here. So we're gonna just grab the location up top here, and I'm gonna paste this here. So same stuff that we did last time. We want to get this folder, go to properties, and we want to go permissions, and we want to set this to read and write. Okay, read and write, and I believe I set this to user or wheels or something like that. I think it was users, right? I don't know, I forgot. Let me see here. Close, and I think that's pretty much it. Close the root file system, and we'll do an unmount here, and then mount it again, and there you go. Now you have you know, options to create your file systems. I mean your, you know, to read and write in it. So that's how you use it. Now let's recap here. So cfdisk is just to create the files or the partitions, and mkfs is to actually write the, you know, the file systems that you want to use on it. So you need those two tools, and cfdisk is the easier one. I mean, there's other tools like fdisk to create it, or parted, the command line version, but I think cfdisk is the easiest one. Plus that's what they use in Arch when you do the Arch install, whatever. That's what they fucking use, and it's just an end cursor interface. Anyways, that's how you use cfdisk to create partitions for your USB stick or your hard drives, whatever it is you want to use. That'll be it for this one.